Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It is now time for your Fitchburg Police Services Facility Update. Easy for me to say. Jared is back. And Jared, every time you've come back the last 2, maybe 3 times, things have just changed on that property substantially. And now we're off and running. There ain't no turning back.
Exactly.
We're just locked in right now. So first and foremost, folks, you were dead on well, the steel's going to show up, and then there's going to be this extra crane, and just happened, just the way you said it. And let's start with that precast. It's all done.
Yes. So precast is kind of a cast-in-place concrete that's manufactured off-site and then trucked to the site. It really provides the whole first floor structure for the parking garage. And yeah, JP Cullen did a great job, right on schedule, started mid-May and just wrapped up last week. And like you said, the site is really changing drastically now.
Well, and the next part you might see is that structural steel is being put in place. And that just gives you the idea, you're oh, I'm starting to know, you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, we're starting to see the skeleton of the building.
Thank you, couldn't find the word.
So yeah, you'll see JP Cullen setting structural steel. They've been probably about 5 days into that, and you can really start to see the building start to come together. They'll take about the rest of the month here to finish setting that structural steel. I mean, the steel will be set, but there's detailing work and final connections, making sure everything's kind of up to the structural snuff, if you will. Yeah.
Well, since you've said snuff, let's just dive in here. How do they secure that stuff in? So as they're laying these pieces, are they welding it? Are they screwing, putting big screws in?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both, right? So the vertical columns, they're set on anchor bolts that were cast into the structure and then tightened down with nuts, and that holds the columns in. And yes, there's other various welded connections where the bar joists tie into the main beams. So to answer your question, it's a combination of both
it's all
bolted connections and welded connections.
Are these aren't your hardware store bolts, are they?
No, these are construction, big wrenches, big impact drills.
Fun tools.
You're not going to be able to find that size at your local Ace or True Value hardware store, that's for sure.
If you come in with that, they just look at you where did you get that? Yeah,
I need a bigger wrench.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, outside today, as we speak, Lacey Road is closed as work goes to connect some of the utilities. What's happening there?
Yeah, so right now, as you said, Lacey got closed down this morning. So they're doing stormwater, fiber connections, actual water feeds to the building and to Gordon Flesh. So yeah, Lacey will be down, and then they'll switch over to research once Lacey's open and finish those site utility connections as well.
Doesn't take very long, does it?
About a week. Weather dependent, unforeseen conditions. You never know what you're going to get into once you kind of start digging down, exposing some of those utilities. But yeah, so far so good, knock on wood. About a week duration is what we're figuring for now.
Please use the detours. There is detours set up for that. We have that on our website. You can check that out. Next, coming up, you've been telling us about this, but the geothermal work is about to get started. So exciting.
Yeah, so this week we'll start to see the drill rig mobilized to the site, and then they'll get started right away. They have about 54 holes to bore into the earth. And that's going to be quite the process because they're going fairly deep down, roughly 500, 800 feet or so, to get that groundwater.
And if people are not familiar with geothermal, what are we talking about?
So this will provide the heating and cooling system to the building. Instead of doing kind of conventional air handling units, they're using the water from the earth, cycling it through the mechanical system, and then sending it back down into the earth to get heated or cooled, depending on the time of season that we're in.
All right, and as far as that does become quite the mess. I remember seeing it out here when they did it with the library. I mean, it's quite the spectacle, but it's a messy process.
It is very messy. They use a lot of water in that process, and that water has to run off. There's going to be quite a slurry that's coming out of the earth. So yes, as you described, it's not a very clean operation, but we've been working with JP Cullen to make sure the water runoff's being treated properly, not contaminating the waterways, and that there's a plan in place to control and try to mitigate the amount of water running off the site.
Fantastic. I'm really excited to see that process. It's pretty cool if you haven't seen it. Moving internally, you may not be able to see this, but inside you've got slab, it's called slab on grade. It's concrete floor is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so right now JP Cullen's going to get started with the underground rough-in inside the parking garage, so doing things like conduit feeds that are underground, floor drains to get the water out of the garage, from the vehicles that come in there and snow's melting. So they'll be working on the underground rough-in, and then sometime early to mid-June, once all that rough-in is done, they'll go ahead and pour. We actually have a slab on grade, and then there's a topping slab on top of that precast structure that kind of provides the final finished floor elevation that they'll pour first so it doesn't drip down onto the slab on grade. But that'll be happening early to mid-June once all the rough-ins are complete.
Wow. Then you're like, it's done, that part, right? You're done.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's beautiful inside there.
Well, then we can, once the topping slab goes on level 1, then you'll start to see the exterior framing and sheathing come into place. So that's going to infill in between the structural steel and really provide the start of the building envelope.
Anticipating when does it actually close up and you guys are pretty much inside?
That's a great question. I didn't come prepared.
I didn't prepare to answer
with
the
weather.
Either.
We call that the weather tight date. But I would say probably late fall. We obviously got to install the exterior framing, the sheathing, the windows, the air and vapor barrier. Get all that buttoned up. But I would anticipate around late fall, just before the season starts to shift again. We'd like to see that building kind of what we call weather tight, so that they can start working on the inside and not be impacted by Mother Nature.
I was going to say, you're wrapping up before Mother Nature kicks your butt with some more cold weather.
Exactly. So the goal is to get in under roof before the weather turns. And I think, given how things are going, knock on wood, they're on a good path to get there.
Seems like that's part of construction, is knocking on wood all the time.
It's a lot of planning and then hoping your plan goes as you think it will.
Well, the good news is once things kind of start to firm up and they're inside, we're going to move our updates to on-site inside to show you some of the stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
It will be. You're going to have to answer 3,000 questions every time we come on site.
Not a problem.
And then do the interview.
Right.
Yeah, so I hope you're ready for that.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, I appreciate the update. We'll check back in June.
Sounds good. Thank you.